this is Glennon with Making Money with Storage Unit Auctions. The title of this segment, Mr. Chubby. I'm not going to do the stripper video just yet. Mr. Chubby is actually waiting. He's been waiting patiently because he knows you want to hear about him. This is a unit that I got in a very nice neighborhood. Got it in Buckhead at one place that was known to always cancel their auctions at the last minute. It was so bad. There's nothing like going, and I will only go if there was nothing else going on, because the cancellation rate was like damn near 95%. I mean, you could be in the office, they come in, do the paperwork, it's still a go. Auctions at 12, at 11:50, yeah, they paid up, or we made a deal. So it was just like bananas. So I'm sitting there waiting, and I fully expect the auction to be canceled. Just sitting there like, okay, I'm going to have lunch, and my stomach was kind of growling. And it's like, oh, all right, we're going to go. And what? Snap, we're going to have an auction? Really? I don't believe this. We're going upstairs. The whole building's climate control. And there's not that many of us there. There's some people from way on up in Georgia and some folks I've never seen before. About 6 of us. And go up, first unit. I didn't want it. It was some window treatments and some other stuff. And that was it. It's like, no, I'm not, And at that point, I'm like, okay, lunch is about to come. Then we go to another room. It's kind of okay, but I already had that stuff. And then you can see everything in it. There was a TV. Not a great bedroom set, but an okay bedroom set. And something orange. I don't know exactly what that was. Then we come to Mr. Chubby's unit. 10 by 10. And Mr. Chubby's unit is chubby. It's full from the ruler to the tutor. And I'm like, lunch is just becoming a memory because I got the truck with me. And if I buy it, I need to load it because they don't play and they do not give you a lot of time. Never have, probably never will. So I'm like, if you're ever at an auction and you're feeling kind of lazy, this feeling happens sometimes. And that's the way I was. And I was kind of half-heartedly bidding because I knew I needed to bid, but I really didn't want to bid because I wanted to go get some junk food. And I'm bidding and bidding. And then one of the new people like, $75. And I was like, all right, $100, $125, $130, $135, $140. Then the auctioneer's kind of like, can we read this? And I was just like, $175. And I yell out $175, and I would have went higher because it appeared to be a nice unit, but it was one of those. You couldn't really get a real clear bead on what the unit had because there was not like this cabinet that took up half the doorway and you couldn't see what was behind it, and it was one of those units with a lower hanging door so you couldn't like get up in there. And then on the other side there was just boxes and bags, but I knew it was a 10 by 10 and at 175, even if it was a turkey, I wasn't going to be hurt. Get the unit. Other guy's like, you can have it, big man. Don't really want it. Fucker. But, so, we go on to another room, which I don't really like, and I don't even bid on, and then go pay. And I immediately get my truck with my stomach growling. I remember this day because I was starving. It is nothing worse than cleaning out a unit and you're already a little grouchy. And it's inside, so it's in the elevator, put the code in. That's a pain in the ass. I get the truck. Fortunately for me, the truck is completely empty. Only thing I had on there was the dollies and blankets. Sometimes it was half full. It was kind of bad about that sometimes. But go up there, I'm getting the unit, I'm pulling stuff out. So the first thing I move is the cabinet. And it's like a moment of anticipation because you're like, I move this cabinet, it's going now. Pull the cabinet back, and what do I see? More boxes and bags. So I'm still very unclear on what's in the unit, but it's a very nice chiffon or an armoire or whatever. Really nice, antique-y. The folks in Virginia Highlands, Puncy, they like that type of stuff. I was like, yeah, I'll put 300 on that. Take 250 all day long. So at this point, I'm like, we've balanced out already. This is what I paid for the unit and gas money, easily. I'll start pulling out stuff, and I don't know. Sometimes before you buy the room, you know if it's a man, woman. I had no clue. Didn't know what I was dealing with. Then I found a set of golf clubs, very old McGregor. I was like, curses, because you can't sell those for anything. They're just garbage. So I pull those out. Then I'm going in there and I find a sewing machine. So I'm like, okay, thinking it's a family. I don't know. I'm pulling stuff out. At this point, I'm like, okay, my stomach's growling. So I'm pulling stuff out and I'm going to the truck. I'm pulling stuff out. I'm not even going through this unit. I get the truck loaded in about like 2 freaking hours. Fortunately for me, it was a lot of boxes, but trips, waiting on people. There was this company, a moving company, bringing stuff in. I'm telling you, cleaning out the inside unit, always add extra time because it's a bitch. Get the truck loaded, go have lunch, then I roll out to the warehouse. Then at this point, I'm pulling stuff out, and I'm like, okay, then I start pulling out all of these weird things, like Planet of the Apes dolls. Not in good condition, not in the blister pack, but like a Planet of the Ape doll. Then I pull out like a Pee Wee Herman. Then I pull out some Pokemon cards, and just like, this ain't good. This ain't good. Because if you ever clean out a unit and you go through like 10 bags and you're not happy, often it does not turn around. It just continues down that deep descent of hell. Unfortunately for me, bag 12 yielded some nice suits. I was like, okay, nice suits and the shirts, because suits suck on the resale, because a lot of times if they've been custom or altered, there's no size in it, and people are a little hesitant to try on stuff at the flea market. Oh, I found some nice silk shirts, some nice ties. I'm like, okay, this is some eBayable stuff. And he's a big boy, he's big. I mean, I put the shirt on and the thing was just like flowing, like I could have just like started flapping and flew the hell off. Then I found a picture of him. You ever see somebody that has not one, not two, but 4 chins? That was Mr. Chubby. But he was happy. Every picture, he was like, and always squeezing on some young and tender. Every picture, this dude was large and in charge. I'm like just going through the stuff, and he was well dressed. Still at this juncture, I don't know what he did for a living. Had no clue. Get in there, and I'm like, oh, dude owns a mortgage company. Yes, Mr. Chubby was paid, which would explain all the young intenders, because every picture was some girl that was 1/4 his size. Every picture, and he's squeezing on them, and they're squeezing what they can squeeze, because he's a big dude. But everyone looked happy, because you see pictures and chicks are kind of like, you can tell she don't like that mozo. She don't like that sucker right there. But they were like all up in the fat. They were just like clinging, like right there, like, yeah, I'm with Mr. Chubby. This is my man for the night. And I'm just going through this stuff, and it goes gooder, because Mr. Chubby was in his special way a Renaissance man. He liked to write. He had books, but they were not journal. They were like short stories and maybe things he wanted to do, because there was a lot of sex. I don't know. I'm gonna take a stab at it and say he was getting some, because there was too many chicks and he was too happy. He wasn't like, yeah, I'm hitting this. Believe that. I may have bought her a Bentley or something, but yeah, I'm hitting this. And I get in there and I read the stuff, and some of it's quite good. Some of it's really quite good. But then I find the safe. And at this point, I've been in the business long enough not to get, because it can bite you in the ass, literally and figuratively. So I just kind of slide it on over there. And I'm going through the stuff. And at this point, I have made about, I've counted up about $1,500 worth of stuff, which ain't bad on a $175 buy. It ain't bad at all. You know, not a bad day's work. At this point, I've kind of calmed down and got the clothes over there, and I'm putting stuff where it needs to be for the people who are going to deal with it. And then I was like, I might as well crack open the safe. What the hell? So I've got like crowbars and everything, because it's not one of those cheap Walmart safes. It's not one of those, because you can take a screwdriver, you're in there like that. It takes nothing. But this one took a little work. You know, it took me about 45 minutes, and that took some time. I pop over in there, and then there's envelopes. And the first envelope, I pull out passports. I'm like, any shit I can do with these. Then it was the second envelope. I started pulling out silver certificates. Now, don't believe me. Look up silver certificates, because people pay big money for those things. Then I started pulling out stamps. But not just regular old stamps. Collectible stamps. I understand this is none of this Sobeys, Tiffany's, or Christie's auction house stuff. No, this is just, you know, $50 to $80 eBay stuff. But this brought me on up to like $2,200. So Mr. Chubby just got really chubby for me. And then that's when I found the porn. Chubby porn. Have you ever watched any chubby porn? Someone the other day was like, "Hey, Glennon, stay away from the midget porn." I was like, I've not seen any midget porn. I've seen big people porn, skinny people porn, crazy porn. I don't believe he's hitting that porn, and I don't believe she's hitting that porn. But I've never seen Mr. Chubby porn. Mr. Chubby was a deviant. Yeah, that would be a good word, because Mr. Chubby was a wild boy. He liked to do things like jack off on the girl's face. Understand, I know that you see that in porn all the time. I've never done that. I don't really understand the joy of having some nice trim there, but you're going to sit there and whack off versus entering the trim. I don't understand it. Doesn't work for me. Never tried it. It's not even on the list of things to do. But he did it frequently. And another thing is, he liked to put on like a mask, like a Mardi Gras masquerade mask, and go at it. And I'm sorry, first time I saw that picture. Oh, understand. These are videos. These are pictures, Polaroids. It just, but there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them. So he was clearly tapping all that ass. And I found out, you know, mortgage brokers back in the day, I mean, I found some of his tax records and stuff. Dude was making some loot. I'm talking $500,000, $700,000 a year. You know, that's where he was kind of hanging out. That's what he was putting on his returns. So obviously, Mr. Chubby could afford some trim. But he had a lot of these chicks. When I say a lot, there was probably like 6. And they were all the same. Young, blonde, and very, very tiny. I mean, next to him, it looked like abuse. That was a big boy. I mean, my girlfriend's little, but damn, you know, she got a little meat on her bones. But these girls, it looked like those Japanese full-grown women that would you think they're children. He kind of had that, I don't know what, Lolita complex maybe, because they were all, I mean, he put R. Kelly to shame. These chicks looked young. And based on, you know, some of the stuff he was doing, they could have been. But see, this is another lesson of why you should not leave certain things in a storage unit. Why did he lose this unit? I have no idea. I Googled him, and he apparently had a company that was still going on. If I was a lesser person, some of the stuff I could have gotten away with, like, could you imagine me walking in Mr. Chubby's office? Hey, you know what? I got something you may want. Oh, really? You don't want to pay me? All right, I'm going to put them on the internet, Mr. Chubby. Now, that would probably land me in jail. But As always, I took the stuff back to the storage facility and left it with the couple that ran the place. And I said, be real careful with that box because you may get a surprise. And it's like, he looked like a pervert. I'm like, what do you mean? Yeah, he would come in here. He just looked like a pervert. I don't know. There was just something about him that was perverted. He looked like a pervert. I was like, I guess you're a good judge of character. Because he was a wild boy. Alright, this is Glendon.